Changing all of a sudden. Oh, we're live. Hi.
Hey,
Hello, everybody.
hello.
So we are going to talk about we were joking around in the background. We're doing a live about OCD, and I went all into my OCD in regard to the colors of the names and that they were matching. And so I'm Rachel O'Brien. This is Frida. Say hi, Frida.
Hello, everyone. I'm Frida.
Hey, and who are you now? Who are you, lovely fella?
I am Troy.
Welcome, Troy.
And so we created a live to talk about a class that I have coming up that makes me really happy. It's starting Saturday and Sunday. It starts Saturday and it goes Saturday and Sunday. And it is an education and an information around OCD. And it offers you a different perspective on OCD. So, who's going to go first, or where would you guys like to start?
Would you like to start with talking about what is OCD?
So, what is OCD from the access consciousness perspective is you have the ability to pick up the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions of everyone around you within an 8,000 mile radius. And so, if you haven't got that information, can you imagine buying that all those thoughts, ideas, emotions are yours?
I don't have to imagine, I know what it is like.
Yeah. And if someone's here who doesn't understand what that could mean, it's like, are you head tripping? Do you have headaches when you're around people? But when you're in nature, you're fine and it's awesome. I don't know. Do you check your door 10 times before you leave? Do you have to be super precise? That can all be signs of OCD there when you haven't actually acknowledged that it's a capacity. So how can it be a capacity, Rachel?
Yeah. So, first of all, for me, it was an anxiety disorder, a disorder. Okay. I was picking up on repeated thoughts, feelings, sensations. And so that would have driven me to certain behaviors, in my case, a lot of alcohol. and I'm laughing at that because now I've absolutely no judgment of that, And so exercising obsessively, cleaning my house obsessively, having to be perfect in my hair obsessively, obsessed about the size of my body, my weight, okay? And so these behaviors are in a reaction to the awareness that you haven't been educated to know as an awareness. And then this is what creates it, but the anxiety never changed. And so when I came to Access Consciousness and I was asked, do you pick up on other people's thoughts, feelings, and emotions? And I was like, oh my God, yes, And then I really had to give myself the awareness that I am far more aware than I give myself credit for. Wow. Yeah. And then your question, Frida, was how do I use this to my advantage? The first part for me is it took me a while to really acknowledge that I was hideously aware.
And I would love to just add, and it could be like very challenging, at least like for me, it was like very challenging to like be aware of the things that I was aware of. And I'm gonna say like I had no problem like with being aware of like good things inside people. I would go like, oh my God, they're so beautiful, or like deep inside there's like something beautiful about them. But every time that I became aware of something that was bad or what they put in the box of bad in this reality, like I would just dynamically start to judge myself and I would start to make myself wrong. I would go, oh, like you're making this up. Like what is wrong with you? Like you shouldn't be perceiving this. And that was like one of the places that I twist it and make it myself wrong, and actually trying to dynamically shut myself down. And there actually I start to use my OCD capacity, which is being aware of everybody around me so dynamically, and use it in a way that was against me, instead of becoming aware of, oh, okay, is this person is going to steal something? Yeah, he will. So don't make him the charge of finances. And which you can use that as a way of advantage, but because like I would make myself super wrong. And how many of you like actually are making yourself wrong when you become aware of something that you quote unquote put in the box of negative? Oh, like I shouldn't be aware of that. Instead of just going, oh, okay, I'm aware of this, and how can I use this to my advantage, and how can I use this information to create something greater?
Thanks so much for this, because what I'm looking at was like just imagine being aware of everyone's thoughts, feelings, emotions, okay? And like your whole system is like overloaded because you haven't been given the tool of infinite being, which we'll talk about in the call. Your whole system becomes overloaded. And then for me, what would occur is that if I focused on running, like I'll just run for 3 hours every day, or I go to the gym for 2 hours a day, or I pour a bottle of vodka down my neck, you know what I mean? And so if I focus on one thing, then that shuts off the awareness of all the information coming at you, I guess. And so when I would be around people, I'd be bombarded with all the thoughts, feelings, emotions that I was aware of. And I wasn't willing to access the space of what was I perceiving and what choices did I have available to me.
Mm. And actually, when you say that, like how many of you that's listening this now go like, oh, like I would never do that ever again, as a way, like another actually way of cutting your awareness, which I would do. I would become aware of something and I would just go to the other direction of going, oh, like now, like I would never choose this again, or I would like never eat something that's not healthy again. Which is like still going to the opposite direction, instead of being in question and choice, possibility, contribution, which can give you so much more ease.
It's so funny because I was never again willing to go in relationship. I was like, I'm never again doing a relationship, which is actually you're completely focusing on I will never again do something, and it cuts off your all the awareness of the information. And I know I have done that. Never again am I talking to her. Never again am I talking to him. Never again am I eating this. So a big thing with OCD is we go extreme on a point of view, which is hilarious. Frida, were you going to say something?
Yeah, actually, and again, I want to go to the capacities, because if we can go extreme on the shit, we can go extreme on the capacities.
Yes, absolutely.
That's the fun thing.
Absolutely.
So once we start to acknowledge how aware we are and how we be extreme with it, we can go like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Now, what can I be aware of that would be my advantage?
Yeah.
What can I pull into my life with such extremity that it has to come?
Boom. So one of the things that the whole movement behind OCD as a capacity, or the whole movement holding it as a capacity, is awareness. And so if you have the point of view that life happens to me, or I'm the effect of other people's thoughts, feelings, emotions, then you are not creator of your life. And so a big turnaround for me is I would wake up in the morning and I would be aware of other people's like thoughts, feelings, emotions. I don't want to go to work. I hate my job. Blah, blah, blah. I hate my life. Blah, blah, blah. I grew up around women that hated men. I hate men. And so this is where you've got to be willing to recognize that you have a phenomenal ability to pick up other people's thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And then what if you could use those capacities to your advantage And in my case, I've created a global business facilitating body work, which is about change. The xmen tools are about the mutation of the species, which is we came here to not live according to judgment, because judgment creates a separation from you. Okay, that's the only purpose of judgment, is to create separation. So if you judge what you are aware of, then you will focus on that and you will be bombarded and you will extreme that judgment. Whereas if you use what you're aware of to your advantage, you can teach people things like gratitude, and you can create businesses, you can have ideas. And one of the things that we talk about in xmen is you'll either be an obsessive compulsive creator of crap, yay, or you actually, and we'll talk way more about this on the call, you actually have a capacity for creation and generation. And if you were utilizing your energy in a way that worked for you, what would you choose and what would you have? So people with OCD have phenomenal capacity to hold a lot of projects in their hand. Like for me, I have this, all of us on here have this phenomenal capacity to have multiple projects, work with multiple people in our hands at the one moment, you know? And so this is where the use of the capacity to your advantage is asking, how can I use this capacity to my advantage? Troy?
Yeah. And actually, I was gonna say something, but I forgot. And I was like, I was gonna say something very cool. I was like, what was that? It was just like 2 seconds ago in my head. Yeah.
Welcome to being an xmen. Something just goes boom, you get some space, and maybe I said what you were going to say. This is the other thing, is like, you know, the thing with me with being around you guys is we'll finish each other's sentences. Can I tell the story about you in the bakery the other day, Troy? Frida, you'll find this hilarious. So Troy is in Germany at the moment, and the other day I went to the baker's and I walk in and there's this like croissant with chocolate, like loads of chocolate. And I'm like to the lady, can I get one of those? And so she takes it and she puts it in a bag and she puts it on the counter. And then I was buying like this like roll for myself with salami and egg and blah, blah, blah. And Troy comes into the store, into the bakery, and he's like, I'll have one of them. And I say to him, oh, open the bag that's on the countertop. And he was like, huh? I'm like, open the bag that's on the countertop. What was in the bag?
The croissant.
Yeah.
Or what he wanted. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And how many of us do this without, we finish our friends' sentences, we hand them the food that they want to eat, or we'll call them at exactly the time that they would like to receive a call. Like, where are these capacities already in your life, and where were you not acknowledging them? Yeah.
And actually, I just remember like what I was gonna say, and yeah, and one of the things like I just want to share, like, which the also the capacity which Rachel was talking about, like being aware of like everybody and everything around you from 800 miles to 8,000 miles, like acknowledging at the same time, like if you cannot change something, and I this is like one of the other tools that I heard from a facilitator that I loved, like if you're trying to like change something and using all the tools and you're not actually able to change that, that is not yours. And like one of the things like I would do, and I'm sharing this in the hope like maybe it can contribute like somebody that is hearing this, like I would actually become aware of something, and because like I didn't acknowledge it was not mine, like I would try to actually obsessively, compulsively like change that. And I would do everything, I will use the tools, or maybe I would actually choose something that's gonna distract me instead of just acknowledging, oh, this is actually not mine. And until that I get that sense of that was not me, like I wouldn't have any, I'm gonna say like peace and ease. And the moment that I just have that acknowledgement of going, oh, actually this is not me. Like I don't have to deal with this. And I'm gonna say like for me, like one of the things that really contributed to that was getting my bars run. So if you're out there and maybe like you haven't heard about the bars, or maybe coming across like Rachel's page for the first time, I will, or even if you know what bars is, I will highly, highly, highly suggest you to get your bars run. Like that was one of the things that was really loud in my world. So I just want to address that.
And is this mind tool? Thank you so much, because I know when I focus on anything and I try to change it, my energy is not going into what's going to generate greater. Okay, because focusing on something obsessively to change it doesn't work. You know, there's some lie that I'm buying is real and true. And then, is this mine? It's my favorite tool. Is this mine? And then, what am I aware of? What is truly going on here? What am I aware of? And then acknowledgement of your awareness, and the acknowledgement of your awareness will allow you to acknowledge what is true for you and reinforce your reality of peace and ease. That is the natural space of an xmen. And one of the things we'll go into in this call as well is where people have looked to fill that space or get you to conform to give them an answer, you know, and the utilization of that space for what you can, for what it was, what that space is naturally your capacity to build your living and add energies to what you would like your life to be. Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. Any finishing? Thanks so much. You cannot change. For me, the takeaway from this live, you cannot change anything that's not yours, number one. Number two, is this mine? Number three, the acknowledgement of what you are perceiving, that you do pick up other people's thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And then number three, am I perceiving this? And then what is it that I can have as a choice here? For me, I've always got to nurture my own choices to bring back the lightness of my reality. And for me, that can go for a walk in the woods. I love generating working. That can also, when my energy is going into lots of projects, that can also create fun. And so ask yourself these questions. And we really hope that this live was beneficial and useful to you. And know that if you have OCD, you're not wrong. And then there are areas that I love my OCD. And we'll talk about that as well on the call, in allowance of I adore my house looking really well, looking really shiny, looking really beautiful. We can talk about perfection versus like what works for you and what creates space and ease for you. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, lovelies. Thank you for being on here. And if this live, if this live is beneficial to you, or you may know a friend that they have a child and they're like, oh my God, my kid. If you put that they're wrong into a child that has OCD, if you put that into their universe, what future do you think you are creating for them with that perspective that they're wrong? Because they would pick that up and then they will judge themselves. And so the space and no judgment is a massive contribution to anyone who has any of these OCD, ADD, autism, Asperger's. Yeah. And how does it get any better than this? And what else is possible? And what would it take for you to use your abilities and capacities to your advantage so you would not be the effect of what you're aware of?
Beautiful. Thank you, Rachel.
How does it get any better? And
so
we pop the call details into the comments. It's going to happen on 9th and 10th of March, which is in 3 days. How do we get so lucky?
Woohoo! Yay!
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
So grateful for you guys. Bye-bye.
Mm.